Hey, what's up guys, Shuckle King here, bringing you my Eon World Trophy Finals Teambuilder and battle against Automatthic rematch from about a month or so ago, and super stoked to get this game underway. My last game of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, but I'm also not super sick, but a little sick. I definitely have like a head cold and such. I probably feel a little bit stuffy than normal. Either that or I can't really hear that well, honestly. Just my whole head is stuffy. Not great right before the game comes out because I took off work the Friday that the game came out and I wanted to grind it as much as possible to the end of the game, but we'll see if that'll be the case, and I'll see if I have the stamina for that. But anyway, before we get into this, make sure you guys like the video if you like the last battle of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It might be one of the last out there for any league. It'd be weird if a league was going on this long into the release of the new game. It'll die down pretty quickly. But and maybe give a subscription. It'd be cool if we could get maybe to 100 by the end of the year. That'd be a pretty ambitious goal, but you never know. So Auto, I lost to him week 8. If I won, I would have been one of the top 2 seeds, I'm pretty sure. I think I would have gotten a number 1 seed if I won that game, but I did not, and I dropped all the way down to the 6th seed, which is pretty crazy. But we did make playoffs, and we are here in finals. I think Auto was the 5th seed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Auto was the 5th seed, and I was the 6th seed, and we're facing off in finals, which is pretty crazy, but here we are. And I really did not want to face him, which is pretty unfortunate. But Auto's team, I'll put it down below. From most to least threatening is Greninja, Koko, Mega Scizor, Diggersby, Gliscor, Albemarle, Gengar, Rotom, Heat, Druddigon, Passimian, Gothorita. On my screen, I have Automattic's team from before, and I'll go into detail a little bit what he brought last time, but in terms of why I think his mantra, very threatening, and I feel like it's going to be a hard win for me to get. Greninja is just really free. It outspeeds everything on my team. And Z-Dark, he could just go for it with really no issues because I do have a Mew and Mega Latios. His only answer is like my answer would be like a DNC, but then obviously he has Surf that'll do a lot. Probably a Z-Dark plus Surf wouldn't kill them, especially defensive, but he also has a Mega Scizor, which I can't do much to that, and he has dual ground types, which I can't do much to at all either. That's really the only thing that can take on Greninja reliably. I guess also Hariyama, if I brought AV, but I brought that last time, and it's definitely a decent bring, but just not sure about bringing Hariyama for this game. I'm not going to be bringing it, actually. Spoilers. But Hariyama's a little slow against this team, and you could easily just U-turn and go into Koko, and Koko would be pretty problematic for me as well. Koko, another threat. Doug Trio is my ground, which is not a great answer for Koko just because he could outspeed. And you saw last time he brought the Shell, he could bring Shucka Berry, Air Balloon, Choice Scarf even, a lot of options on the Koko. And Doug Trio doesn't really want to take many hits. Though I could maybe think of creative ways to try to stop a Koko with Doug Trio. Ferrothorn can also kind of take it on. Hidden Power Fire, probably Twig Hose if I'm not Akaberry. Or if he's like Life Orb, probably Twig Hose even if I am Akaberry. Hariyama can maybe take some hits. Even if I'm a Assault Vest, I'm probably still taking a lot of damage from Dazzling Gleams. So, and it's pretty easy for him to kick Dazzling Gleams against my team because even if I bring Ferrothorn, he could just go for a Hidden Power Fire afterwards, and I can't do a ton of damage to him in return. Definitely not Oko with any of my moves. Mega Scizor is annoying just because it's very bulky, and I had a pretty big problem with it last time I faced him. I can run fire coverage on a lot of things on my team, but at the same time, it limits me in having other coverage for everything else on his team, and if he doesn't... No, he'll bring the Mega Scizor, but like if he doesn't, then that'd be a lot of wasted moves to have on my mons otherwise. But like Mew can have fire coverage, Mega Latios can have HP fire, Ferrothorn can't really do anything, Drapion has Fire Fang, Diancie, Hidden Power Fire, Darm is a pretty safe switch in, even though Bullet Bump Punches are going to do like 25%. So if he gets Rocks up and I have Flare Blitz Recoil, then Mega Scizor can still be a pretty big threat even if I have a Darmanitan. destroys my Archeops. Hariyama has Fire Punch. It can do a little bit. Manaphy, it can run Scald or Hidden Power Fire. So I have ways to handle the Mega Scizor, but it's just a really nice pivot for him. Diggersby and Gliscor ground types are both annoying to my team because my resist are Mega Latios and Archeops, and Archeops probably and Mega Latios get 2-hit KO'd easily by return. And Gliscor can run Facade and probably 2-hit KO them as well. Maybe not the Mega Latios. Maybe not 2-hit KO with Facade, but it would be pretty close, and Archeops can't really do much to Gliscor anyway, unless I'm like a Bandit or Z Rock Head Smash. Those, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Really expect those 5 to come. The 6 could be a couple options. Almamola, he usually doesn't like to bring it, but an AV set could be legitimate for sure. He might be able to take a +6 hit from my Manaphy and go for a Mirror Code in return. Gengar, I was more scared of it before than in actuality. Like Ferrothorn takes it on really well. Drapion, Pursuit Traps, DNC takes on the Gengar very well. Mega Latios speed ties unless if Gengar Scarfed. And if Gengar Scarfed, it's not that big of an issue. Dugtrio, it doesn't trap, but it could run Sucker Punch or Pursuit to handle the Gengar. Hariyama takes on really no issues. Manaphy, a little bit of a edge case there, but I could have Psychic. Though Sludge Wave does 2-hit KO Manaphy, so that would definitely be something to watch out for with Gengar. Rotom Heat handles the Ferrothorn very well. He could be Choice Scarfed, like Meryl brought a Scarfed Rotom Frost to handle my Manaphy, so you could definitely do the same with Rotom Heat, with also being a good answer to Ferrothorn and not missing Blizzard like Meryl did. But Mega Latios takes on with really no issues, and Hariyama does as well as DNC. Last 3, Druddigon, he brought it last time. It makes sense to handle the Dormanitin. Outside of that, it doesn't do a ton. Passimian, I said it wasn't coming before, and it came. It didn't do anything last time, but I really don't think it's going to come. I have a Mew, Latios, Manaphy. Passimian's not going to be doing much. Gothorita doesn't really trap too much on my team outside of like DNC. If I'm like the set I brought last week that got 4 kills, like Diamond Storm, Moonblast, Toxic, Stealth Rock, a pretty standard DNC set. Rest Gothorita could beat that. Outside of that, and I guess maybe Dugtrio. Outside of that, I should be able to, and I guess Shuckle if I brought that. But besides those 3, everything else my team can beat Gothorita, so I would highly doubt that would come. So what Alder brought to beat me last time, said Shell, Tapu Koko with the coverage makes a lot of sense in Power Fire to hit the Ferrothorn and Dazzling Gleam to hit the Mega Latios. Greninja was Dark EMZ, very safe bet. Pretty sure he brings it again. Maybe Water Shuriken if I'm like a Scarfed or Manatan, but probably doesn't need to do that. Druddigon was physically defensive with speed creep my Hariyama, which definitely went into his favor there, and I didn't get rolls last time I played him. The close combat by not going max gave me a good chance to 2-hit KO, like a 50-50 chance to 2-hit KO. As if he was max, he only would have been like a 20% chance to 2-hit KO, so the speed definitely helped him in that case, but there was a chance it definitely wouldn't have helped if I got the rolls that I was hoping for. But I could definitely see this set coming again, but I have ways around this if he does bring this Druddigon set. Diggersby, Silksarf, I could see him being Choice Banded. I wouldn't care about Choice Banded is tough just because I do have Ferrothorn plus Mega Latios option, so it's hard to just continuously return or continuously Earthquake because those 2 mons exist. I'm really scared of an Agility set. Agility, like Life Orb, hits my team super hard with like Earthquake, Return, and Fire Punch. I would imagine would be the 3 moves there. And he bought those 3 plus Quick Attack last time. Mega Scizor, an offensive pivot. Can definitely see this maybe something more special defensive, maybe to take like a Hidden Power Fire or Fire move from Mew or Mega Latios better, and maybe 2-hit KO after box with Bullet Punch in return. Not sure, but this could be an option. And he likes to bring Defog, Mega Scizor, and Scar Passimian. Don't think it's going to come, but it could be an option. Vepsis' trend, not Vepsis. I played Vepsis last week. Otto's team, he likes to. I was looking at all of his battles, and he likes to bring Defog Mega Scizor a lot. He's brought it almost to every game, so hopefully I could take advantage of that. I do have a Darmanitan, and if I get Rocks Up, brings in the Scizor, defogs, I can bring a Darmanitan every time as he defogs. I'm not too scared of him going for a Bullet Punch or a U-turn, and then in return I can get a really big hit off of Flare Blitz, as really only the Alomomola or the Druddigon are two reliable defensive answers to take on Flare Blitz, because Rotom Heat probably getting 2-hit KO'd, as well as Gliscor gets 2-hit KO'd by Flare Blitz. Almost elite brought to majority of his matches Koko, Gliscor, Diggersby, Greninja, Rotom Heat, and Scizor. And I can see those 6 coming. Probably at least 5 of those 6. I was saying Greninja, Koko, Mega Scizor, Diggersby, Gliscor. Maybe Druddigon makes up that 6. I think that makes a lot of sense there. So he could bring any of the other 5 mons, like he did bring a Passimian before, obviously, but I would expect those 6 are most likely to come, so hopefully I could prepare for that. And he has a lot of kills with Koko and Scizor, obviously, because Koko is probably the best mon in the format that we have. So, again, trying to neuter Koko from doing more damage than it normally does. And he usually leads to get, with a lot of speed, to gain momentum. Not necessarily with rocks. He has before, but he usually leads just to get a bunch of speed initiative, either with Koko or the Greninja. So I would expect one of those two to be the lead. And that would be my game plan, is to combat either like a Koko or a Greninja lead, which is pretty tough to do because they're both very versatile. The team I brought last time quickly, Manaphy with Salic Berry, didn't really set up that well. It was going to be tough to get the sweep up, but definitely possible. Mega Latios, bulky. I was able to take a return from the Diggersby, but I predicted incorrectly and he killed me with a quick attack after that. Special defensive Ferrothorn is fine. I probably should have had Akaberry to take on, maybe to take a hit from the Diggersby, but a little passive, but it worked fine to check the potential Gengar to Koko. Hariyama, as All-Fest set, was pretty solid. I like the looks of this, and definitely I could bring it to this match here. Darmanitan, as I was saying before, very solid Toy Scarf option. I outspeed everything on his team that isn't Scarfed with my Scarf, which is cool. And is like typical Scarf users outside of Gengar, I would be outspeeding like a Rotom Heat or a Passimian or a Diggersby. And the last mon I had was an Expert Belt Mew. Didn't do a whole lot. Fire Punch did not get the kill on the Scizor. I did a lot of damage, and if I got Rocks Up, I would have killed, but I did not. So that was unfortunate there. So that was my team last time. My game plan this time is, I feel like Manaphy still does really well, and I think I can get a sweep with Manaphy. Last time I brought a Surf Energy while Hidden Power Fire, and the problem there was I didn't have anything to hit the Druddigon that he brought, so it was tough for me to set up a Taillow with Manaphy, with Druddigon being around and the Koko still being around, especially because I didn't bring a ground type last time, so it was kind of harder to deal with the Koko. So I have to weaken the Koko, Gengar, and Z Greninja are all threats to Manaphy because they all add speed. Gengar does decent damage with Sludge Wave, and Greninja Dark Pulse into a regular Dark Pulse to it KOs me. It'll probably do over 60 to 70% with Z Dark Pulse, and then the second Dark Pulse should kill after that. So I have to figure out ways to kill the Koko, Greninja, and Gengar, or to neuter them, so that way my Manaphy can sweep. There's my phone. Sorry about that. And how I'm going to weaken them, I think it's going to be Sticky Webs in this matchup. And it's the first time I brought it, and it's super risky this week just because he has Mega Scizor, which is just an easy bring. But again, as I was saying before, the Darmanitan switches in every time. So if he brings Scizor and defogs on my Shuckle, then I get a free switch and then the Darmanitan, and hopefully wreak havoc with a Flare Blitz there and try to 2-KO everything on his team. Also, I want to prevent Rocks to get up on my side of the field as much as possible because Darmanitan is pretty clutch in this matchup to handle the Mega Scizor. So preventing Rocks to get up, and the Latios is another thing that wrecks his team. Problem was I didn't have Hidden Power Fire before for the Scizor, so I feel like I have to bring that this time. And another issue is he has Tapu, Koko, and Greninja. So I have Psychic and Draco Meteor, so one of those two moves doesn't hit one of those two mons, and vice versa. So I have to like play around predicting who's going to be coming in at that point. So we'll get right into the team that I brought. The first mon I have is Manaphy with Papa Berry, Tail Glow, Surf, Energy Ball, Ice Beam instead of Hidden Power Fire, so that way I can hit the Druddigon and kill it +3 unless if he's special defensive. But I would imagine he'd be physically defensive to take on the Darmanitan like he was before. My EVs here. So I was changing this a couple of times. I had the initial iteration was to take a Adamant Choice Banded Return from Diggersby after Rocks and activate the Papa Berry. But instead, shoutouts to Halu, Love Chance, and especially Harris for helping with looking over the fine tunings of this team here. I decided to go a little bit more special defensive to take on Greninja, because I have nothing on this team that takes on Greninja, as you'll see. This is the only mon that can take a Z Dark Pulse plus a regular Dark Pulse from Greninja, and then I would activate my Papa Berry. And I could also take an Adamant Life Orb Return from Diggersby, which I feel like is more common anyway. I don't think he's bringing Choice Banded. I also live Choice Banded hit with no rocks up, or Adamant Life Orb with rocks up. So hopefully we don't encounter a situation where he's Choice Banded and there are rocks up in the field. Again, I would doubt it. I kill everything on his team as +3 with only 4 special attack EVs, unless if he's a weird berry or assault vest on any of his mons. So that's really clutch. And the speed will allow me to outspeed at base 80s. The thing is, I don't outspeed a Rotom Heat. If he's Choice Scarf, I definitely don't outspeed. And if he's max speed Rotom Heat, I don't outspeed either. But, I mean, this is kind of like a lot of people were saying I think Otto was saying in his video it was a negative that I had such a big speed difference between I guess my Diancie and my Drapion is Diancie's base 50 and Drapion's base 95. That was a hindrance to my team to have that big speed difference, but I feel like it helps me as well because I don't necessarily have to invest a lot of speed in order to outspeed like his mons in between that range. So I figured if he's bringing a Rotom Heat, he's probably not going to bring max speed, because if I brought a max speed Drapion, he wouldn't be able to outspeed me, so there'd be no chance for him to run it. So I can afford to run less speed on my mons. It's too much thinking at that point, but I don't expect him to be a max speed Rotom Heat set unless maybe it was a Choice Scarf set, and at that point I had to figure out ways around it. But with special defense EVs, I feel like I could take 2 Volt Switches from full. Probably not 2 Thunderbolts though. Next mon, Mega Latios. Also the other mon I said does extremely well in this matchup. Modest will allow me to kill Mega Scizor if he's not special defensive with Hidden Power Fire, and Timid did not allow me to do that. So that's definitely clutch. And I brought Modest last time anyway, just again with the speed tiers. I don't think he'd be running a lot of speed on his lower speed tier mons. And like I don't think it's worth it for me to try to speed tie a Gengar when I have responses to it on my team anyway. And even if like the Gliscor is like max speed and outspeeds me, I don't care. Gliscor is not going to be doing much to my Mega Latios, especially because I do have a lot of bulk on this set. Draco Meteor hits a lot of things in this team really hard, especially because he doesn't have he does have a fairy type Koko. It doesn't hit the Koko hard, so that's unfortunate. Psychic does like 80 to 90%, so it does a crap ton. So it's going to be risky around the bringing the Koko on my Mega Latios. And reverse, Draco Meteor kills the Greninja, but obviously Psychic does nothing to the Greninja. However, I do live a Dark Pulse from Modest Greninja. If he's Z and doesn't go for the Z, or if you already burned a Z, then I do live a Dark Pulse after Rocks and kill with Draco Meteor and recover. No hazard removal. I don't know if I brought hazard removal at all this season. Maybe once. Don't bring it too much, though. Because I do have Joe, which is my name. The Shuckle the Sticky Web user. Oh, boy. I'm glad I was able to use this at some point this season. I was eyeing this up for Week 8, but I wanted to hold back. Essentially, I ran Salic Berry Manaphy Week 8, and this is essentially an easy, like, a harder way to get up that speed. you could, I don't know, maybe it's more reliable to get the speed up with Shuckle and Sticky Web, but he has a lot of defog users. He has Koko, Gliscor, Rotom, Heat, and Mega Scizor. He is among the best defog users in the game, so it's pretty tough for me to get a Sticky Web up, but if I do, then Manaphy's in a great position to sweep. Stealth Rock, Sticky Web, Encore Toxic. If he brings in the Scizor and defogs as I go on the Sticky Web the turn before, then at least I can Encore him into a defog, and then he has the choice of either staying in and continuously defog, or me get a free switch in my Darmanitan, or he could predict me to go into Darmanitan, switch out, and then I could get Sticky Webs up again. And Toxic is there really not for much, I guess, for the Digger speed. If he's locked in like Choice Band of Return, it only does like 25% to me. I could get a Toxic and wear it down. Same for the Albemola, I could wear that down. And I guess the Gothorita, but it's going to have rest if he brings it. And Gluttony will bring me above. I can activate my Papa Berry 50% instead of 25%, so that's pretty clutch. Mega Scizor Bullet Punches do like, I think they do like 40%, so I could take 2 Bullet Punches after rocks with the Papa Berry and Gluttony. Next Pokemon I have is Darmanitan, Flare Blitz, Rock Slide, Taunt, Fire Punch, so Life Orb set. I think I've only brought Scarf or Bandits. This is, I believe, my first time not bringing either of those 2 items. Flare Blitz 2 KOs everything on this team. Like, Bandit didn't make a difference in terms of picking up 2 KOs that Life Orb did. But Choice Scarf would have not allowed me to 2 KO the Gliscor or the Rotom Heat. So, the output and Flare Blitz damage is definitely worth it over running a Choice Scarf in this matchup, I feel like, especially if I can get Sticky Webs up. Taunt is there to prevent the Gliscor or more importantly, the Druddigon from getting rocks up. There is a chance I 2 KO Druddigon after rocks with Flare Blitz, but if he gets like a free switch in the Druddigon, it's like, say I killed a Mega Scizor and he brings in the Druddigon to get rocks up, I can at least taunt it to prevent rocks from getting up on my side of the field. Fire Punch or Rock Slide is there to hit the Rotom Heat in case he is like max and rocks aren't up. I don't think I 2 KO with Flare Blitz, so Rock Slide will ensure that. And I imagine if he's max, then obviously I do add speed. And Fire Punch is there if I don't want to take recoil damage. I believe the speed outspeeds, is it base 80s? Manaphy is the same speed, so I outspeed base 80s with a positive speed nature with this set. And I wouldn't imagine, again, the Rotom Heat to be a max speed, max HP set or something. And if it is, I believe I 2 KO with Flare Blitz. Next Pokemon I have here is a pretty cool Mew set. Definitely a bait. Superpower, Gunk Shot, Ice Beam, Fire Blast. Lonely nature with a little bit of special attack, a lot of attack, and a decent amount of speed. So, I was saying before, Koko, Gren are probably going to be the 2 most likely leads. So my game plan in this matchup is if he doesn't bring a Druddigon, then I lead with this Mew set, because he's probably going to lead with Koko or the Greninja. If he does bring the Druddigon, I feel like I have to lead with my Mega Latios to make sure he does not get rocks up, because my Mew does not handle, it doesn't kill with an Ice Beam against the Druddigon. But the Ice Beam threatens the Gliscor, Superpower kills the Greninja, and Gunk Shot kills the Koko. No Earthquake because that does not kill the Koko from full, and I'm trying to kill Koko turn 1 if possible. Though Earthquake would be nice to hit the Gengar harder than any of the moves I have right now. Consider Thunderbolt as well over Superpower. Thunderbolt, same, doesn't kill the Greninja. It would kill under the terrain, but again, I want to kill it first turn possible. Ice Beam to hit the Gliscor, and Fire Blast to hit and kill the Mega Scizor, because I ran Fire Punch last time, and Fire Punch wasn't as effective just because Mega Scizor's physical bulk is a lot higher than his special bulk. Speed allows me to add speed, everything on his team. 146, again, the same thing as my Darmanitan and my Manaphy. Add speed base 80s. I don't add speed Rotom Heat if it's scarfed, but not too worried about that. I went with minus defense over minus special defense because I can take a Dark Pulse from Greninja if he doesn't burn a Z move. So I felt like that was more useful than, say, taking a return from Diggersby or something like that. I feel like I'll probably be taking more special attacks with this Mew set. Hopefully I don't take many attacks at all. And the last Pokemon I have is Custap Drapion. It's back again, baby. Poison Jab, Pursuit, Taunt, and Fire Fang. It's probably not going to work again, but you never know. But what's cool about this set is with the HP, this Thunderbolt from a Tapu Koko will bring me into Rocks range. After Rocks, it'll bring, or without Rocks, it'll bring me into Custom range. It's like, it does like 72 or 73% min to Drapion it, and I think the max was like 87.4. So it's not going to kill me after Rocks, but there is a chance that Rocks aren't up on the field that this also does bring me into Custom range. And he thinking that he could 2 KO me with Thunderbolt? Nope, I have Poison Jab, and that'll do 80 to 90%. I don't kill, unfortunately, but I'll be doing a ton of damage with Poison Jab. Pursuit will allow me to trap the Gengar because he can't 2 KO me unless if he's Focus Blast. Taunt, again, for the Druddigon and like a slower Gliscor to make sure they don't get Rocks up, even though Gliscor could take me out with an Earthquake. And Fire Fang is there to do over 50% to Mega Scizor. Don't really have great answers to Greninja on this team. I don't have a ground resist. Mega Latios can kind of take on Koko hits okay. With the bulk, Dazzling Gleam does like 60%, and I do a lot of like 80 to 90% return with Psychic, so I'm definitely okay with that exchange. But it's going to be a tough game, but it's going to be an interesting one for sure. So let's get into the last game of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. All right, here we are for the finals against Automatthic, and as we can see from his team here, he does not bring the Mega Scizor, which is just unbelievable to me. Did not expect that at all. I feel like at this point, Shuckle looks really nice to get up a Sticky Web. I mean, he has Koko, Rotom Heat, and Gliscor all as potential defog users. I would expect very confidently that the Rotom Heat is going to be a defogger. The Druddigon is probably going to be physically defensive with Stealth Rocks. Gliscor is probably going to be a setup set because it doesn't have to be Rocks. Diggersby is probably a breaker, and then Koko and Greninja will be just annoying U-turn Volt Switchers to my team, but not having the Scizor there makes it a lot easier for my Shuckle to try to get a speed boost up. Manaphy does not have to worry about Gengar either, which is nice, but I have to worry about weakening the Koko and getting rid of the Z move on the Greninja in order to sweep in this matchup. And also figure out if the Rotom Heat is Choice Scarf, which I would doubt, but it's definitely a possibility here. So Mega Latios also looks really nice, just have to predict whether it's whether he's going to bring in the Greninja or the Koko if I go for the Psychic or the Dracometer, because I do not have to go for Hidden Power Fire this match. Anyway, I was pretty shocked the Scizor didn't come, so I wasn't sure what to do. I said to my team builder that if he led Druddigon, or if he had Druddigon, then I would bring my Mega Latios and determine to set up Stealth Rocks with it, but with him having no Mega Scizor, I'm not really as worried about Rocks up being on my side of the field. Darmanitan is not as big of a necessity in this match as I initially thought, so it might make sense because I figured he's going to lead. There's a good chance he leads with Koko or Greninja just because that's what he likes to lead with. So Mew made a lot of sense to lead in this matchup to get a kill on one of those two, but I was a little bit rushed to make my decision here. That's what happens on the Wi-Fi. So I did not lead with Mew. I led with the Mega Latios instead. So hopefully this does not come to bite me early on in this match, because I had bad momentum early on in the match against Auto the first time that we played, and that really made me lose the match earlier on because I wasn't able to gain any momentum throughout the match. And he leads with the Koko, which is better than him leading with the Greninja. The Greninja lead would be bad just because I'd be forced to burn my my Z move. He would be burning his Z move right away turn 1, and I would have to basically sacrifice a Mon to that Greninja. So, and I would not want to sacrifice my Mega Latios. So, fortunately, he leads with the Koko. I can take a Life Orb Dazzling Gleam, not if he's modest, but Tim has said I can take a Life Orb pet. Not that he's going to be Life Orb. I think he needs to be Shucka or Air Balloon or Shed Shell to have some measures against my Doug Trio. So I'm fine with this matchup. I know I could take any hit, So I'm pretty free to fire off either a Psychic or Draco. He could very aggressively go into Greninja here because he really doesn't have an answer for a Draco Meteor coming from my Mega Latios besides this Koko. So I'm going to make the safe play and go for the Psychic. If he does stay and go for Dazzling Gleam, I'm okay with getting a lot of damage on me if I do a lot of damage to him. But he goes for the U-turn, and if he goes into Greninja here, that would basically be the same case scenario as going for the lead with the Greninja and not getting any damage on it. Fortunately, he goes into the Rotom Heat, and I get a Psychic, and as you can see here, it's going to be doing a lot of damage. It does over half. About 65%, so that shows that he's probably max HP. He could be max speed, probably more physically defensive to take on the Darmanitan. Now, the U-turn damage from Koko showed that he is a max attack set, so that's definitely interesting. He doesn't have Dazzling Gleam, most likely. He could still have Dazzling Gleam. I would doubt it. Probably still has Hidden Power Fire to deal with the Ferrothorn, but I know I can take hits from the Koko, I would imagine. And I don't think he has any way to KO me, which is great, because U-turn, I think, max does 48%, 49%. He did like 45, 46% with that last U-turn. So that's pretty clutch. I can go for the Draco here. I feel like it's pretty free. Psychic would to a KO, but I feel like he could make the aggressive play and get in the Greninja, and then he has another opportunity to get a free Dark Pulse up. But he does make a great play and goes into Koko. Very risky there, because if I got like 80-90% psychic damage off in a Koko, I could have brought it into range of rocks, so that would have been great there. But he makes a good play and goes into the Koko. In a tough spot here, he could U-turn again, and I could go for the Draco, predicting him to U-turn, and I would kill anything on his team. I could go for the Psychic the same turn. He wouldn't be able to kill me with it. Well, with any move that he has, but he would probably go for the U-turn. I don't think he goes for a Dazzling Gleam here, but I feel like the best play for me is just to recover, because I know he can't kill me with any one turn, so I'm pretty safe to stay in and just recover more HP. If he brings in the Rotom Heat to sack it off, so be it. I feel like he could also predict me easily here for me to go for the Draco, predicting his U-turn. But he does go into the Greninja. So I could have been aggressive, gone for the Draco Meteor and killed this Greninja, but I don't, and I have to basically find something to sacrifice on my team. And I feel like Drapion is demand because I don't want my Manaphy to get weakened, especially because his defog option of the Rotom Heat is already pretty low. So I feel like I can take advantage of that and get my webs and or sticky webs and maybe rocks up as well pretty reliably against the Rotom. So he does burn the Z Dark Pulse against my Drapion, which is what I expected, but I really didn't have any other switch in. Didn't want my Manaphy to be taking damage, even though I know I can take a Z Dark Pulse plus a regular Dark Pulse from a Greninja. It was such a cool animation there. Unfortunately, won't be getting those in the next generation, but I don't know with the Dynamaxing stuff. The animations look cool there. I don't know if anything else is introduced. But at this point in the game, Surf is pretty much a guaranteed play for him, or Scald, or like a water move, because Dark Pulse wouldn't be doing enough, and I could do a lot of damage with X's or Brick Break, Poison Jab, not knock off, but one of those three moves. So I'm going to be going into my Mew and see what he goes for from there. I don't expect a Dark Pulse, so I'm going to go into my Mew to take the predicted water move, and at that point I could kill with a superpower unless he gets a Scald Burn, which he's not to go for Surf, or I could double back out into my Drapion. So he goes for the Surf and does decent damage. I know that he's timid from that damage for sure. So the Electric Train also goes up, so he saw that I didn't have any item with my Mew, so he could definitely expect me to be Colbur Berry. So there's definitely a chance that he could just go for the U-turn here. But he also saw that the Electric Train went out, and if I have like Thunderbolt to kill this Greninja in the train's not up anymore. So even if I am Colbur Berry and he goes for the Dark Pulse, one, he could flinch me, so I don't get a Thunderbolt off, and two, Thunderbolt won't be killing even if he doesn't get a flinch, and I do have Colbur Berry, and if I don't have Colbur Berry, then he kills me with Dark Pulse. Little does he know that I am Scarf Superpower that would also kill this Greninja right now. I'm sure he doesn't expect that, but I would expect that he's not going to go for the U-turn and goes for the Dark Pulse. So I'm going to go back into my Drapion and force him to and get me into range of Custap Berry. Predicting that he's not going to go for the U-turn, because I think he feels like Dark Pulse is a pretty safe move on the Mew, even if I am Colbert Berry. If he did go for U-turn, though, he wouldn't bring me into Custap range, which would be pretty problematic, and he gets a switch into Koko for free. So fortunately, he does bring me in range of Custap Berry. I'm sure he didn't expect me to be Custap Berry, Drapion 2 weeks in a row, and I am able to get a Poison Jab off on the Drapion, which is nice to get this damage off, and I get a Poison, which is also clutch. But I'm going to say it really doesn't make a difference. It could have, but it's highly unlikely that it would have made a difference. So Drapion being down is pretty nice because I can get a free switch into my Shuckle. And the Poison is nice because I will be wearing this Greninja down eventually. So the downside of that Poison is actually that he brings me into... that he brings himself into Torrent range. So Surf is going to be doing more damage to my Shuckle, and I don't have Sturdy, so there is a chance he could just flat out kill me. With Torrent and Surf, he won't be able to kill me if he's timid, which he is, unless if he gets a crit. So that would be pretty unfortunate, but I feel like it's pretty safe for me to go for the Sticky Web right here. If he goes into Rotom Heat, I could Toxic. He can't really Pain Split because he's not going to recover that much HP. And I have ways to beat the Rotom Heat anyway, like going back into my Mega Latios would also be an option. So Auto's deciding to just go for the Surf, maybe do a lot of damage to the point where I only get one hazard up. He does a lot, but I do live the hit, fortunately, and I recover a little bit of HP. Surf's still good at 2 KO, but I am able to get the Sticky Web up, which is definitely very clutch. Everything on his team is grounded, but the Rotom Heat and the Gliscor, and neither of them can probably do too much to my Manaphy, especially because I know Rotom Heat is most likely physically defensive. He still could be max HP, max speed. I don't necessarily know this based off the calcs that I know at this point, but Surf is going to be able to 2 KO my Shuckle. Thank you for putting all great work this season, Shuckle. I really appreciate it. True MVP right there. Should have nicknamed him MVP. But I bring in the other MVP, which is Water, the Manaphy, the overrated Mon of Gen 7. And he goes for the Dark Pulse here. And 60 points of damage, and I can get a Tail Glow off. That was like a higher roll from Dark Pulse. Doesn't make too much of a difference. So now I'm at +3, and everything's going to be affected by Sticky Webs, but the Rotom Heat, which is probably physically defensive, and the Gliscor. So I was saying before that the Poison probably wouldn't have made much of a difference. This Dark Pulse would have been a 5-hit KO with my Berry. He would have hit me 3 times with Dark Pulse, would have brought me to Berry range, would have been brought out to HP, would have lived another Dark Pulse, and probably would have died at the 5th. So as long as he didn't flinch me 3 times in that time frame, I could have gotten a Tail Glow up and killed the Greninja with an Energy Ball. If he flinched me twice, then I would be in great shape. If he flinched me 3 times, then it would be a little bit more problematic, because then if the Diggersby has Quick Attack, then that would be problematic. But at this point, I feel like the only ways of me not being able to win this game are Scarf, Koko, Special Defensive, Druddigon, or any type of AV or Berry set that can stop me. So he brings in a Druddigon. I didn't bring Ice Beam last time. I brought Hidden Power Fire to do like a nuke to Mega Scizor instead. But I do have Ice Beam this time. It also hits the Gliscor, which doesn't matter. It really only hit this Druddigon, and I'm able to actually OHKO. I'm sure he was physically defensive to handle my Darmanitan as he was last time. Now he brings in the Diggersby. Even if he's like a bulky Assault Vest set, maybe if he was special defensive, he would live it, but he's not going to be doing any damage. But he just goes for the Quick Attack to get as much damage off as possible. Doesn't do a ton, and I know I will 100% kill with Surf, even if he's like max HP Assault Vest. And I do take down this Diggersby. The only thing I'm really threatened of was a Choice Scarf to Koko, but I figured he's not going to be Choice Scarf to Koko at this point in the game. He would have gone to it at that point, unless he was expecting that I was like a Wakan Berry set potentially, and he was Wild Charged, and then I would live the hit and then kill him in return with Surf. Maybe he didn't want that to happen, but he is not Choice Scarf, and I'm able to kill with a Surf. And the last 2 Mons are Gliscor and Rotom Heat, and spoilers, I will be killing both of those Mons with Surf. I went for Surf instead of Ice Beam on the Gliscor because he could have been Yachi Berry Gliscor and lived to hit it +3, so I don't have my special attack, and then maybe like a crit earthquake would have killed. I mean, I still probably would have won the game even at that point, but just to be safe, I don't think he would have been a... it's not Rindo Berry, whatever the water resist berry is. Pasha Berry, that's it. So I killed the Gliscor, and I killed this Rotom Heat. So Manaphy finally I think Manaphy's gotten a sweep once this season, but definitely has a very legitimate sweep this game thanks to the aid of Shuckle, and I'm actually able to win 4-0 against Automatthic. I believe Auto beat me 4-0 last time we played. So yes, I did win the Eon World Trophy Championship for Season 1. It's crazy. I mean, being the 6th seed in playoffs, I had to face 3 really tough opponents, Meryl, Vespas, who I lost to, and an Auto, who I lost to. So it was going to be a tough road for me to get to the championship, let alone win it. So I'm just super stoked for that to happen. The last 3 leagues I was in, the APA Showdown League I was in, I won that league against Jack. I won the best players in the format, and I won the A-Drive Army Battle League as well for the one of the 3 divisions that I was in out of 16 teams. So I ended this generation on a very high note, and I also went 6-2 in the APA team tournament. So I'm very happy with my my latest performances here. Good game. Automatthic. Didn't think like this league was gonna actually pan out just because of how quickly everything was put together, but this was definitely the best Wi-Fi league that I've been in. Not that I've been in a ton anyway, but I really appreciate Auto for giving me the chance to be in this league. We were in what's the league? IPL. That's it. IPL for 2 seasons. I don't believe he was in NGBA. No, I don't. Yes, he was in NGBA. Man, that was 4 years ago. It's been a super long time. So, thank you for giving me the chance to be in a Wi-Fi league. I haven't lasted in a full season yet, so it's definitely nice to see the fruits of like this whole league working out. I don't have the biggest channel out there. I have less than 100 subscribers right now. Everybody else is a lot bigger in this league than I am. And I know I feel like people should respect me as a battler. I guess at least on the showdown end, people respect me as a battler. I would hope anyway, with my latest performances throughout the last couple of years. I just need respect from the Wi-Fi community and to get these high quality videos out there. So I appreciate the support everybody's been giving me this season. It's really been awesome, and I didn't expect it to flourish as well as it has, honestly. Also, shout out to the ABA. They actually gave the winner of this league a copy of Sword or Shield, so I will be getting a copy of, obviously, the better game Shield. Now, I really don't have any information about this game. I know I'll be picking Groki, whatever the grass starter is. That'll probably trigger people that I don't know the starter mons yet, but I've been trying to avoid as many spoilers as possible. I did that for Gen 7 and Nuzlocke the game. I'm going to try to Nuzlocke this game too, and I lost to Guzma's Golisopod because I had no idea it was a bug type, and I had no idea what first impression was, and I thought this Golisopod was just a super speedy and super strong threat. But first impression does have priority. So, but anyway, make sure you check out Kershaka's channel. Shout outs to the ABL for for sponsoring this league, and check out Automatthic too. Also, make sure to check out Auto's draft league website. Has a lot of information, and it's a great resource if you're building up a league. And make sure to check out Kershaka's playthrough of Sword and Shield going on right now. Trying to avoid all playthroughs, at least until I beat the game, which hopefully I'll be able to do in the next couple days. Again, I am sick, but hopefully I'll be able to power through it. But again, thanks for everybody for the support. Greatly appreciate it. And we'll say I have more in store for Sword and Shield. But this is Shuckle King, and I'll see you guys later.